I matched with Claire on Bumble in January. Her profile was normal. Not influencer level attractive. Not suspiciously polished. 3 photos. One at a coffee shop, one in a winter coat standing somewhere snowy, and one slightly blurry mirror selfie in what looked like an apartment bathroom. Her bio said she worked remotely and had just moved to the area for a fresh start. Nothing about it felt fake. We talked for about a week. She never sent voice notes, never wanted to FaceTime. Said she hated how she looked on camera and preferred meeting in person once she felt comfortable. That didn't seem unreasonable. What made her feel real was the consistency. She'd reference things I mentioned days earlier. She asked follow-up questions. She didn't overtext or undertext. Looking back, though, most of her questions weren't about personality. They were about logistics. What time I usually got off work, whether I worked from home, if my building had security, if I lived alone, what kind of car I drove, if anyone would notice if I was out late. At the time, it just felt like conversation. Now I know it wasn't. After about 7 days, she suggested we hang out. She said she was house-sitting for a relative and didn't want to leave the dog alone too long. I suggested coffee somewhere public. She hesitated, then said she had anxiety in crowded places and would feel safer at the house for a first meeting. That line disarmed me. It made it seem like she was cautious. I agreed. The house was in a newer development about 20 minutes from me. Large homes, spaced apart, some empty lots, very little traffic. When I pulled up, the driveway was empty. Only one light was on upstairs. I texted her that I was there. She replied instantly. Side doors unlocked. Come in. No emoji, no smiley face, just that. I sat in my car for maybe 30 seconds. Something felt off, but nothing felt wrong enough to justify leaving. So I got out. The side door opened into a dark kitchen. No dog, no music, no TV, no sound at all. The air inside felt stale, like the house had been closed up for a while. Claire, I called. My phone buzzed immediately. Upstairs. That's when the feeling changed. It wasn't panic. It was a slow, heavy awareness. I should have left then, but I didn't. The stairs creaked as I went up. The hallway at the top was dark, except for one door at the end with light spilling out from inside. I stood outside it for several seconds, then pushed it open. The room was completely empty. No bed, no dresser, no curtains, just bare carpet. And in the center of the room, a folding chair facing the doorway. On the chair was a phone. The screen was lit, on a live video call, with me. The screen showed the back of my head, real time. I froze. The angle wasn't from the chair. It was higher, from the corner of the ceiling. I looked up slowly. A small black device was mounted near the smoke detector. The phone on the chair buzzed. A message from Claire. Turn around. My body reacted before I could think. I turned. At the far end of the hallway, near the top of the stairs, a man stepped into view. Tall, heavyset, bald, mid-40s maybe. Neutral expression, not angry, not rushed, just calm, like he'd done this before. I backed up into the room without meaning to. He took one slow step forward, then another. That's when I ran. I shoved past him. I don't even remember making contact, just the feeling of hitting something solid. I nearly missed a step going down the stairs and slammed my shoulder into the wall. He didn't chase me. That's the part that still keeps me up at night. He didn't need to. When I reached my car, my hands were shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice before getting the door unlocked. As I reversed out of the driveway, I looked up. He was standing outside now, in the yard, watching me leave. No anger, no urgency, just observing, like he was taking mental notes. I drove straight home. I sat in my car in my apartment lot for a full minute before going inside. I kept checking the mirrors. Eventually, I forced myself upstairs. Around 2:13 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just a photo. No text. It took my brain a second to process what I was looking at. It was the inside of my car. From the back seat, the angle was low, slightly tilted, like a phone resting against the rear passenger headrest. You could see the back of my head, my hands gripping the steering wheel, the road ahead through the windshield. The timestamp was from earlier that night, from when I was driving away from the house. I felt physically cold. That meant someone had been inside my car, either before I got in, or while I was inside that house. A second message came through. You were almost perfect. I ran downstairs immediately. My car was locked, no damage, no broken windows. I opened the back door slowly. Nothing inside, no phone, no bag, no sign anyone had been there. The next morning, I took the car to a mechanic and asked them to check everything. He found a small magnetic GPS tracker attached under the rear bumper. Clean, recently placed. He said they're easy to buy online. He asked if I was dealing with a jealous ex. I said no, but I wasn't sure what I was dealing with. I went to the police. They checked the house. It was empty. No chair, no phone, no mounted camera, no signs of forced entry. The house was owned by an LLC. No listed tenants. They asked if I might have gone to the wrong address. I hadn't. The Bumble account was gone. Deleted. The phone number that sent the photo was a prepaid burner. Without direct threats or physical evidence tying someone to a crime, they said there wasn't much they could do. 3 days later, my gym membership was canceled. I hadn't canceled it. When I called, they said someone came in with my full name and date of birth and said I had moved out of state. They showed my ID. Same address, same birth date, different photo. The photo was of that man. But my name was printed underneath it. I asked if they kept a copy. They said they didn't scan it, just visually verified. That's when it stopped feeling random. It felt organized, like I wasn't being stalked. I was being documented, evaluated. A week later, I got gas late at night. As I stood there, I noticed a van parked across the lot, engine running, lights off. After about a minute, the headlights flicked on. The van rolled forward and stopped about 30 feet from me. The driver's window rolled down. It was him. Same calm expression. He lifted something into view. A phone. On the screen was that backseat photo. He tapped the screen once, like selecting a file. Then he drove away. No horn, no threats, no words. I froze my credit, changed banks, moved apartments, sold my car, deleted every social app. I haven't dated since. After that, I started checking missing persons reports, just to prove to myself I wasn't being paranoid. There were more than I expected. Mostly men, mid-20s to mid-30s, descriptions that sounded familiar. Lived alone, worked remotely, last seen leaving home in the evening. Phone inactive shortly after. One of them disappeared 4 months before I matched with Claire. His last social media post mentioned trying a dating app. His account just stopped. No dramatic news story, no closure, just silence. I stared at his photo for a long time. He looked normal, routine, predictable, someone whose absence wouldn't cause immediate chaos. And I wondered what his evaluation said. If somewhere, on some printed page under his name, it said, "Ideal. I don't think I was supposed to be robbed. I don't think I was supposed to be killed immediately. I think I was being evaluated. Routine, isolation, digital footprint, compliance. How long before someone would notice I was gone? Whether I would go upstairs when told. Whether I would sit in that chair. When I ran, I failed. And the message still replays in my head. You were almost perfect. Almost, which means someone else probably was." If something like this has ever happened to you, you can share in the comments. I read every story. I might even feature your story in a future video. Stay safe, and watch the doors tonight.